Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live stream here as we review NXT on this Super Tuesday, September 8th, 2020. I'm Matt, as you can see, and John's there on the right side of the screen. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It was just ready to talk about some NXT the last week, uh, unopposed. It feels sad.
Yes,
It,
I'm going to
but
miss these days of unopposed. Nice.
yeah, and I was
Excuse me.
reminded that of all night. It's like, ugh, that's right. They're going back on Wednesdays
Yes.
next week. Fuck.
It's it's a it's it's a double-edged sword for me, in my opinion, because one, it's like when they're on the post, it's like, oh, every day there's something. Geez, got to get ready, got to watch something, huh? But they're on the pose and we can watch it. And then on the flip side, if when they're not, we get this done, wham bam, one night, you're out.
Mm,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and it's last work for us to do. But then again, John would usually just watch AEW, and I try to watch both. I know it's not as good, but luckily, what we've been doing is doing the show on a Thursday, giving us time to watch both. Um, we'll probably still be able to do it on Thursday, but probably a little bit later with my schedule. But still Thursday nonetheless. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But let's get into NXT for this evening, Super Tuesday 2, as they're dubbing it. Surprise, surprise. We kick off with the NXT title match, which people have debated online why, and regardless. We have Finn Balor versus Adam Cole. My theory as to why, I do agree, I think this should have closed. My theory is if I'm speaking for the company side, is that we had these 60-minute Iron Man match. Everybody sat through it, and we didn't get a clear, decisive champion. So they're going into overtime. So I guess just we ended last week with that, and they just want to get right into it this week, which in that sense, in my mind, obviously makes sense. If this was a normal one-on-one, I would be, if without the events preceding last week, I would really make no sense to me. But regardless, and it will obviously get your thoughts in a second. I thought this was a fantastic match, regardless of position on the card.
Yeah, it was, easily Finn Balor's best match of 2020, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Just start off a little bit slow, but then gradually build
Yeah, it's what
into
you
a
needed.
into a really good, might even say a great match here. But and there's always a but here with this, Matt. To me, this not closing the show was freaking stupid. Um, and like I understand like from that standpoint, but if you're going to like have us wait a full week to see who the winner is going to be, then I don't see why they just don't have this close the show here. I mean, I could understand, okay, if you are opposing against Dynamite, completely understand you want to have the early jump on them. I wouldn't really criticize that, but especially for how the show ended, um, the only other way that I would have been okay with this thing opening the show is if something big, really big happened at the end of this,
Mm-hmm.
where like
Yep.
where like where like it was undisputed. You could not um you couldn't really argue or blame them for doing so. But as we know, nothing exactly happened, and that was it. So, in my opinion, this just it did not it did not make a ton of sense for me. And if I were them, I would just have waited and had this close the show here.
I to go off of my theory before. I'm assuming because it's still Cage and that they wanted to do that. Go off last. I don't know if obviously this wasn't live, but I don't know how they were recording. If it was like live to obviously live to tape,
Mhm.
or they could stop and start, and if they wanted to, if it was more stop and start, like I'm assuming they probably could have had this open and then take whatever time they needed to um set it up and take it down, but I'm assuming that's what happened at the end, so I don't think this was live to tape. I just guess I'm just thinking the steel cage match gimmick itself was justifiable in their eyes to make it the main event, and then I'm just assuming that over time, we've waited an hour and we get disappointed. It was disappointing to tie, and then just go straight into don't wait because we were pissed. I don't know if this was the plan all along, and they maybe could have switched it around, but just how commentary ended, I don't know. But then again, you could always change that later. Technically, I don't know when this was recorded. If it was today and they just tape delay it. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know the reason. I'm not there, but I still don't agree with it. But
No.
we can nitpick this and tear that up all day. But the match itself, getting back into that, I love. Then they started. They did. It was tit for tat, holds, getting into it, and then the match, and then starting to sell as the match went on. You got the higher spots, if you will, as usually. I think starting after the first picture in picture,
Yeah,
they
for sure.
started. Then
Mhm.
you wear them down, you get the holds, then you start going a little bit, and then after the second picture in picture, that's when they really started to go and build to the climax at the end, which was the 1916 off the top rope for the win, and Balor's your new champion. I thought there was good storytelling in this match. Um, Cole kicked out of the coup de grace, I believe the regular 1916, or if not, if he didn't do the 1916, the Balor sold that he couldn't do it, or he was countered, I think. And then also Balor kicked out of the V trigger, um, and all of that. So both, the finishers in a basic sense couldn't finish both of them. So obviously Balor had to do something better in 1916 off the top. Did it. Yeah, I just enjoy this match. Twitter enjoy the match. You enjoy this match. I think this was again, great way, just taking at face value to open the show. I believe this is probably going to get the highest rating of, of the whole show, probably that first half hour
Mhm.
or so. Yeah, just
Wouldn't
good
surprise
match.
me
Yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me from the quarterly standpoint if this got near or over a million viewers here.
I don't know, but I would say at least 900.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know. See, I don't know. I about a million. I would be shocked if it was close to a million. I don't know, just NXT's track record, but
Mhm.
um, yeah. I regardless of the number, I think this is going to be the highest segment of the night. Anything else you want to add about this match?
No, you pretty much summed it up. How I would sum it up there, Matt. Just a really good match, and again, as I said, just wished that this would have closed the show here. But
Yeah.
yep.
And basically, we get cameras go backstage. We see Triple H, Regal, and other superstars congratulating Balor. Adam Cole walks up, uh, congratulated him, saying he's the better man, and they do the too sweet uh, hand gesture, and Balor gets interviewed by the cameraman and says this meeting winning the NXT title is why he came back to NXT. Then we get Robert Stone talking to Mackenzie Mitchell, um, saying he's a great manager because he knows where things are where people don't, and he approaches Shotzi Blackheart's tank backstage to try to destroy it, but it's interrupted by Shotzi. Knocks him over with a punch, and Aaliyah comes to attack. And they get in a tussle, and they go through this backdrop thing where Io Shirai gets knocked down, which after that you should run for your life. So Io is going after Aaliyah, and they go in the ring. So is Shotzi. They, beat up on Aaliyah. And then as Leah's, running off scared, Shotzi and Io celebrate. Shotzi gives Io her title, and as she goes for it, pulls it away just a little bit, and Io gets pissed and says, "Don't make me hurt you," and takes it and walks off. And later, it was announced in a non-title match: Shotzi versus Io next week.
Yeah, so I'm pretty over Robert Stone if I haven't been already. I'm just really sick of the freaking hokey shit going on with him right now. Um but obviously this was to set up for Io versus Shotzi, which should be which should be a fine match. Gotta think that Shotzi probably wins to
Should win, yes.
yeah, to set up a future title match. But yeah, and even said after this segment, Mar- Mercedes Martinez really needs to be separated from from Robert Stone. It's just she's just her personality and her character obviously is just so vastly different from his. It kind of makes her look stupid by being with him in my opinion there. So yeah.
It should be a decent non-title match, regardless. We'll see what happens next week. Then we get the first of, I believe, 3 segments with Cancer Ray and Johnny Gargano at their house. They're at the dinner table, and Candice wants Johnny to, make this work. Johnny agrees. Tegan Knox comes to the door, and Johnny's like trying. It's like an awkward first date. Johnny's joking around, and stuff. And they all sit at the table and they begin to talk. They go to commercial. And we see them later on in the show. And then we get a Thatch Can training segment with Timmy Thatcher going over videotape um, of Damien Priest showing the weaknesses of the stuff that Damien Priest does. Um, I kind of I kind of like this just for that fact, just showing clips of what Damien Priest does and Thatcher explaining what to do with it. I will like this better if in the match next week, which was announced for the North American Championship, if I guess it was 3 things he said. Yeah.
Yeah.
If he actually
Yeah.
does, if he does it in the match, he better do those 3 things in the match.
All right.
But obviously Damian Priest retains and overcomes those exploits, if you will. I thought this was I enjoyed this, and this reminded me. I don't know if it's as good, but when Taz would do that breakdown on AEW, the weaknesses,
Yeah.
this made I don't to me. I know maybe not everybody's the biggest fan of Timothy Thatcher, but this made like the wrestling part more real and like more legit of what he was doing. Um, I thought this was the better ones of this lesson stuff because it like I said, it made it more legit and what he was showing, at least to me, made sense and logical. Again, I really will enjoy this more if he does the 3 things, the weak points, if you will, next week in this match and to tie that promo together. If he doesn't, then this was a waste of time. But if he does the 3 things, and I got to remember next week what they are, so I can catch him if the commentary doesn't say anything, and I'm going to be impressed. I think this could be a decent match next week. I believe you should agree that Damian Priest wins. There's no way he loses in his first title defense.
No, I don't see Damian Priest losing anytime soon. And yeah, I will agree with the segment being I'm good for what it was built up for the title match next week. I'm still am like not the biggest fan of Thatcher. I think he's a charisma vacuum, a personality vacuum, but for what they're presenting him as, this is the best way that you can present Thatcher. He stands out from everyone else on the roster, and as he kind of stated in that segment, he will never plan on doing any dives whatsoever. Like his style is pretty
He's like FTR's gimmick.
yeah.
Just what was it? Revival. No flips, just fists. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So that it should be. I would expect a very hard hitting match between these two.
Yeah. I'm fully expecting that
Yes.
as well. As for yeah. So
yeah. Then we get Velveteen Dream versus Ashante the Adonis. From Velveteen Dream gets the win here, but Adonis
he got in a lot of offense here. I was shocked by that. Like
had some pretty looked decent in this match for the little bit that they had. But Dream gets the win. But the big story here is that after the match, Kushida comes back after the attack from by the hands of Dream several weeks ago, and just beats the holy hell out of Dream. Just he's grabbing what we have here. Usually he had him in like the turnbuckle in between and just grabbing his arm and is like yanking him into the still post a couple of times, and then apply the cross arm breaker with using the ropes. I like the side Kushida. It's a sad thing that he sells the attack from Dream more than Drew did from the 3 punts. I tweeted
and
that.
and I'm going into a little rant about that in like a little bit, but yeah, I definitely agree. I'm just glad that they're finally somewhat using Kushida. He's literally has been relegated to a cruiserweight outside of the last little bit here. They need to start using him more for how big of a signing that he came over
And
from.
yeah, and it looks like they are right now with this
Mhm.
feud
Yeah,
starting up again or continuing, if you will.
yeah,
Um, we get a video package of the tag team champions Brazongo and Imperium, Bartel, and Eichner, and they have a rematch for the tag team titles next week
yeah.
on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest, man. I have like zero interest um in that match. It's just NXT's tag team division right now just feels like so stale, and I'm stagnant right now. I'm not sure if you agree
Yeah,
with
yeah,
that.
it's
It's just like there's just nothing to really get excited about, and that's sort of the
I
issue that I have right now with
it's
it.
gonna. I feel like every there's a cycle of talent in NXT,
Mhm.
and sometimes it's either with the women or tag teams or some aspect of the show where um the talent is like gone, but like you blink and like in a year it gets replenished. That's what I feel like that's what's going uh on with the tag team division. Um Indo Sheer or whatever their thing is. They've been off TV ever since that leak came out.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um, I think that's the main reason. I don't know if there's an injury with somebody else. You got Brazongo, you got Imperium, and you have other ones, but they are kind of
yeah,
just there
yeah.
at the time being. So
It
they
just
really got to
doesn't.
build that back up.
Yeah, like they need to involve some better storylines here. If you ask me, and no offense to both Tyler Breeze and the Fandango, just they just don't get me interested. And even so with with the Imperium too, it's just like they are just there for me. So they need to figure something out with this tag team division right now.
Um, we get the second part of Tegan Knox and Cancer Ray at their or at the Gargano home. Um, Gargano, they're all three sitting at a table. Johnny's saying that it must be him why everything's awkward. So he gets up, he leaves. Candace asks Tegan if she wants to admit to her mistakes. Um, Knox doesn't, says Candace betrayed her. Um, and Candace retorts that the problem is Knox doesn't understand the Gargano way and how she's handling things now. Knox obviously doesn't agree with it. Um, says that Johnny's the reason why Candace has changed. Candace says that she's always been this way and she just has a different side that's come out. Um, and that she always had Tegan's back, and she names several instances. Um, and she questions why Knox thinks she would do her wrong. And then says, "What does she have to lose?" And then we cut away from that to Bronson Reed and Austin Theory, um, which was a good little match. And the big thing I took away from this match, John, was the selling of Austin Theory
Mhm.
for Bronson Reed. He made him look like a thick boy,
Mhm.
if you will.
Yeah, and now and I'm pretty sure that this is the first time that they were calling him this, but he's now going by the colossal, the colossal superstar or something like
I
that.
I missed that.
Yeah, yeah, like he, um, com- commentary. They were saying that a few times, and also he also had colossal on
Yeah,
his
yeah, maybe it's that thick
on his
boy.
yeah
Maybe that's
on his
better.
gear. Yeah, which I think so too, especially on the main roster. That's going to look a lot better
Yeah,
when
then
he,
thick
yeah,
boy.
yeah, like it that may because I guarantee you, if he stayed as that, I mean, like Vince would automatically think that as a comedic character there, which I mean, at this point, if you have seen Bronson Reed, he's anything but a comedic guy. So yeah, I do think that maybe Reed was selling a little bit too much at times, and that this
You
probably
mean Theory?
no
Reed.
or yeah
You said Reed. You said Reed was selling too much at times.
or yeah in like certain parts, but and I did think that like maybe this went on a little bit longer than I expected, but as like you said, Theory just sold his ass off for Bronson Reed.
Yeah, he
Um,
made him. He
right,
made him look
right.
great.
And I definitely think they are definitely doing him versus Damian Priest at some point here for the title. Which that would not surprise me if that happened at their next takeover, which I believe is in October. So I think that's probably the ultimate plan there. So yeah, we'll see how that goes there.
Hmm. I like at the end he was going. Theory had Reed up and he sold the knee buckling.
Mhm,
I thought really well. And then obviously Reed uh, gets the win there. Yeah, the theories. Yeah, selling. I think was
mhm,
what stood out to me. I mean, Bronson Reed looked good. Don't get me wrong, but like Theory really made him, like I said, just pulled over the big aspect of Reed, and I thought this was good. And then even though like coming back from the commercial, or even during the picture and the JR picture in picture, um,
he
Reed
would have
got
been
some.
he would have
He
been
would have
having
lost
a
his mind.
yeah
Maybe
he
not
would
as much. There's no secret hashtag. Damn it, NXT.
yeah
Um,
we're missing
I
out there.
yeah, damn it. I want to compared compelled to watch picture in picture. But he got some offense in, which typical for I guess what we see. Gets it, but the Reed just comes back and just destroys him. Again, good
Mhm,
selling for Austin Theory. That was the most impressive one out of the bunch. Um, then we get a backstage interview of Adam Cole. Admits he's disappointed that he didn't win, but puts over Finn Balor, but says he better watch out if he gets another title shot because the outcome will be different, and that is undisputed. Um, then we get Roderick Strong versus Killian Dane. With Roderick Strong getting the win here. Um, yeah, match was what it was. Um, after the match, Fish and Strong beat up on Dane. With now this week, Drake Maverick comes out to fight off Undisputed Era with I guess steel pipe. Yeah. Um, but then Drake gets beat up, and Killing Dane makes the save. Killing Dane looks like he's going to attack Drake with the pipe, but drops it and leaves. Drake walks over to try to shake his hand, but Killing Dane, neat no friends, punches him in the face, knocking Drake Maverick down, and Killing Dane walks off. So it looks like we'll have an actual match between the two, I think, down the road in the not too distant future.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, that doesn't really interest me either. But at least they have given us some build here. It's yeah, and as I text you, I was like, man, Killing Dane is a freaking dick.
Yes.
so
I want Drake Maverick to beat his ass.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
You've got a friend in me. So that was my terrible Randy Newman impression. Boo. Then we get back to the last segment of the cancel Ray Tegan Knox thing. Apparently had a good talk. They raised their glasses for a toast. And Candice saying they're going to toast to the friendship and her being the next NXT Women's Championship. Knox takes exception to that. Candice says they're doing things her way now, and Knox already had her shot. Knox said something. I'm not sure. I don't know, something I forget that Candice didn't agree with. They get an argument, and Candice tosses the salad with dressing in the face of Knox. Knox throws a glass of water. They're fighting. They're arguing. Johnny comes down. He tries to break it up. And then Knox grabs a bowl of spaghetti. Goes after Johnny said that she's a terrible person. Pokes him on the shoulder. He turns around and she goes, "You know what, Johnny? Fuck you." With the bleep of "fuck you, Johnny." I wish I needed a GIF so I can use that against you in text messages. And dumps the spaghetti on his head.
TV 14 confirmed.
Yes, with the beep. And they're fighting. Candice throws something to Knox, but she goes out of the way, and by God, that TV had a family. Breaks the TV, and Knox leaves.
And as I told you at the bonfire the other night, from a tree branch, it's a TV. It doesn't have feelings. It's an object.
I don't. You know what? Are you a TV? No, you don't know. You don't know what the TV sees or feels.
It's
you know what? So is a drone too. But we all have feelings for Matt Hardy's drone.
No, Matt Hardy, he put a soul into that drone. Okay, he has a soul. Damn it, a TV doesn't have a soul.
Why can't he put a soul in a TV? Damn it!
Because you aren't. Because Johnny isn't broken. That's why.
You know what, Johnny? Fuck you. I wish I had spaghetti. Well, this video, if we could get monetized, wouldn't get monetized. Damn it, Tegan Knox, and your bad manners at a dinner guest. Potty mouth. Damn it. That's just why Dakota Kai doesn't like you anymore. Bad dinner guest. You're swearing. Tegan. I don't know where the show is going. But anyways, we get an interview with Damian Priest. And then this is confirming the defending the title next week. She asks
or as I'm calling him now, Big Andrade now, because if you
Johnny Reigns.
Yeah, because if you recall from from when Andrade was in NXT. Pretty much the same exact character. Is a partier and a like ladies man. So here we go.
Angel Priest, Damien Garza. There we go.
Boom.
Says pretty much Priest says how he's going to beat Thatcher out. He's just going to beat him up. No way he's losing the title in his first defense. Invites Mackenzie to his victory celebration as always, being the ladies' man as he is. Where is Dammy Burnett? Anybody?
Probably being abducted by the
by Retribution.
By the geeks over at LA Raw.
Angel Garza is not a geek.
No, I'm talking about yes, I'm talking about Retribution.
They talked this week. They have a voice.
We'll get into that shortly here.
Are we? But, should we?
Yes.
Oh, why? Anywho,
because it's therapeutic.
I know this is gonna make it worse. Anyways, we get to the main event. Still cage match. Mercedes Martinez versus Rhea Ripley. Mercedes gives no craps, just throwing. That was a kendo stick. I didn't even. She did use it. That's Jared. Tries to get a table win, but Rhea attacks him from behind and tossing it. Here we go. I thought this was a good match. Excellent still cage match between the two. The Rhea wins by putting Riptide from hits the Riptide on Mercedes from the top rope through a table for the win, and Rhea celebrates on the top rope, top of the cage.
She really needed this win here. So
Robert Stone is dead, draped over the top of the cage like a wet rag on a clothesline.
Yeah.
I'm glad he didn't have a more. I'm glad he didn't get way too involved. Did something that would scare, but they just had him dead, which was fine.
He's just essentially is like Rhea's punching bag at this point. I mean, like, I definitely feel like with the end of this, we have to be getting Rhea versus Io at Takeover. That feels like what. Yeah, I feel like that's probably where they're ending up where they're going. I also think too that she should probably win that title back, but that's a different topic for a future podcast. But yeah, so a match, and kind of what I said at the very start of this stream. This probably should have opened the show here. And the title match should have been, but a very good match nonetheless here.
Yeah. So that was NXT for this week. So yeah, that was that. Okay. Decent show this week, and obviously we have Takeover tomorrow, and of course, as always, we do a live reaction.
Takeover. Yes. Yes, you said Takeover.
Okay, Dynamite. What the hell?
There we go.
Surprise! It's like a SummerSlam payback situation.
Which on paper Dynamite doesn't look great right now. If I'm just looking at what they have advertised,
it reminds me of the Go Home show, the All Out. On paper, it's where they have Jericho and Hager versus
Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela,
like a Street Fighter, no disqualification, something like that.
I didn't see that there, but they got that they have the wedding with Kip Sabian, Penelope Ford, but we do have Pentagon and Phoenix versus Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. So I'm pretty excited for that. And obviously Brody Lee versus
Gold Dust,
versus
or not Gold Dust.
Dustin Rhodes.
Dustin
Yeah,
Rhodes.
yeah. So I do expect though that after this week we're going to be seeing a lot more loaded shows. Obviously since both of these shows are going head to head now. So
Yep.
so yeah, that's again it's sad because I really liked both shows being on separate nights
Mhm.
just so that we could just watch it live and then come on here and talk about it. But things and I really wanted to talk about this Raw last night. I was asking how is it that SmackDown is like 100 times better, has more direction, and has the same creative team? I it just it's mind blowing to me. And then you saw a like a report earlier from like Sports Kita where basically they like it was chaos backstage. Essentially, they didn't even announce any matches until like 70 minutes before the show last night. It was a mess. And Matt, that promo by Retribution was corny, like cheesy. I was asking myself, what the hell are these people saying? I got like I got like wide I got like wide vibes when they were when he was cutting promos in in like some secluded woods area or something. It just I just so there was that and somehow freaking somehow Drew is completely fine after getting punted not once, not twice, but 3 times, and he's perfectly fine a week later. Like, I mean, and I texted you this. I was like, wow, they kind of buried Orton's punt there. You know, just like how is he back completely healthy within a week here? Makes zero damn sense. I mean, hell, that's like written guys off of TV permanently see him Husky Harris there. I mean, it just I oh just man, that just did not make any sense. And then like there was everything going on with the tag team titles. Like, are they going to be unifying them? But no, we're having now they're bringing back quarterly um brand warfare.
Invitation,
Yeah, invitational. Whatever.
which that is, people are allowed to switch brands once a whatever.
I'm just like,
I
yeah,
think it's still leading to combining the titles at Clash of Champions, because
hopefully,
I feel like some shenanigans happens.
yeah.
Uh,
I'm fully
this
expecting
match
it.
doesn't end. Which, if they consolidate the titles, yes,
Yeah, but man, like you just like just the whole raw creative process was just lazy, man. Like that
I
is the one word that it just comes to mind. It's just like it was just rematch after rematch, rehash after rehash. It's
some
just
form of a combination.
it's just like
I don't understand. It amazes me how
how SmackDown goes to where everything is completely fresh and interesting and brand new, where like Raw is old, rehashed, re- rerun. I'm like, I mean, and I
trending, trending, trending water, whatever the word is. Whatever. Um, that's what it seems like. They're stuck running in the same position.
yeah,
While SmackDown, um, is You said 100. That's being generous to Raw.
Yeah,
300 times better.
I mean, like just Roman Reigns alone. Like if they had even just that, I mean, like it's 1,000 times better. And supposedly too, with that, not only is Heyman helping him um on screen, but supposedly behind the scenes, he's completely in charge of his booking, which I can absolutely believe that now because just it would explain a lot of things that are going on, and I guarantee you that he probably brought up the idea. Oh hey, let's do him versus Jay. It's something. It's something. Short notice avoids us going straight into like Wyatt versus Range, which should absolutely be saved for a future bigger show such as like Rumble or something. So yeah, it just man. And as far as like Retribution is concerned, man, do you think because to me there are two clearly confirmed people in that group between Dijak and like me again. Do you think as far as Dijak is he the true leader, or are they going to reveal it as someone else who is the actual leader here?
My heart says no, but my brain says yes.
Yeah.
I
Which, if that's the case, this group is going to fail a slow and miserable death.
I'm going to say he is, unless they prove me wrong, which I will be happy to be wrong.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. It's just, man, was this?
But yeah, because SmackDown, every segment, regardless if you liked it or not, had some
interesting
progression of something. Something happened. Be it Heavy Machinery and Morrison with the Money in the Bank, maybe not the best, but there's it's something's happening. It's trying to push the story whether you like it or not. You got that. You got Big E. I think he got taken out.
Sasha and
Sasha
Bailey.
and Bailey. That's the big thing. They finally pulled the trigger on that. Roman Reigns, that promo, and just being a badass just backstage, his presence. That you had that fatal 4-way, right? Yeah, with Jey Uso, that was important. Close the show. That's intriguing. They built that all the way through, getting him in the match. It's like the subtle little things there. Just it didn't come out and say, but they threw little like hints along the way that you put the pieces together and like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because we were like, oh, why is Jey Uso in it? We just saw him, but they had Heyman pull Adam Pearce off to the side, pulling the strings to do this, being the puppet master.
Which then I was like, okay, I'm perfectly fine with this now, because now it's like, okay, Roman and Paul are using with their political pull there. So
it makes sense. It's telling us it's interesting. You want to see the match, but you want to see what happens after. It's like
just everything on that brand right now is very intriguing right now. So I mean, like, I definitely plan on watching on Friday.
I'm really looking forward to Friday. I was really looking forward to Friday more so than tonight in AEW, just with everything. Nothing on that last week's show was you sat there and were like, oh Christ, what is happening? Finish it. For the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. So So yeah, we'll see how all of that pans out. But as far as Dynamite is concerned, tomorrow they need a. Needless to say, they are in need of a freaking reset tomorrow. Hopefully we
Yep,
get that
for sure.
just like generate some positive buzz
Yeah, we'll see what
because
happens.
yeah, because by God, we freaking need it. But yeah, guys, that's going to like do it for this live stream here. As we said, we will be back tomorrow night to give you our thoughts on AEW Dynamite. And we'll yeah, just be talking a whole bunch about that. Also follow our Twitter page at MJ make a podcast, comment, subscribe. We will be tweeting throughout the show tomorrow night, and also stay tuned uh, for our weekly podcast, which, as always, is going to be dropping on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So for myself and also Matt, we thank you, and we shall see you